Ray, of all the topics we're going to talk about today, child nutrition services are probably the least involvement directly on behalf of the principal with child nutrition services as opposed to some of the other departments, but very directly with what happens with the students as a part of food service. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I think child nutrition services is a support role. I think what principals' responsibilities include are how to order sack lunches for your field trips, knowing those are well in advance, how to make sure that the students with dietary guidelines, that your insulin students, that you make sure that we've communicated well with CNS and that they're delivering the appropriate food for the child. The most concern I see with principals is peanut allergies. Those students that have these severe peanut allergies, to make sure that you have a peanut-free area for the child to eat. As I tell most principals, they want to ban peanuts from their campus. And I always tell them for child nutrition services that I can't guarantee that anything's prepared in CNS that has peanut-free environment because the manufacturer cannot guarantee those. So I always tell the administrators that the best defense is a good offense, where that you're going to go with the student, you make a peanut-free area, you have ensuring that the student goes through the line that gets a peanut-free lunch if necessary, and that we are not trying to make sure that the student has an environment everywhere that's peanut-free, but the student's aware of their limitations, and that they are the ones that have been trained also in making sure that they don't come in contact with those types of. And peanuts is just one of the allergies that we deal with on a daily basis. Diabetics, make sure the carb counts are correct in doing so. Most of what happens too with your bell schedules, not only is transportation, but when lunch happens, is driven by when the food can be delivered. So food deliveries have a big impact on school sites, the number of meals that they serve, along with the number of lunch periods that are served during the day. And so all can be impacted by what CNS can or can't do. So good dialogue with your child nutrition services people and folks, and I can guarantee you any of the nurses on staff or any of your school health technicians, they're in dialogue with the CNS department daily because of just the carb counts, and we're seeing more and more diabetic students come in with insulin pumps and with insulin requirements that everybody has to be highly cognitive of. And so,
when kids go to and from lunch, eat lunch, the principal has a behavior responsibility. Is that not correct?
Absolutely. The principal, not only is the principal responsible for the lunch lines, how they conduct through the lunch lines, and how ultimately what is happening in the eating areas of the school, and then exiting out to the playground, and adequate supervision needs to be provided. And that's at a school site's responsibility in general. And so that's something the principal should be very much aware of.
Just out of curiosity, because things have changed quickly, is the supervision at lunchtime the responsibility, budget-wise, of the principal?
Well, as budgets have gotten tight, many of the school districts have come in, and it has come out of the school sites. And what they've done, if food service hasn't available dollars available, they may charge the area supervision during lunch that are supervising eating areas and supervising lunch lines directly to the CNS program. That is allowable in doing so, and it's one of the areas that school districts have looked at in order to ensure that they are able to shrink costs in doing so, and it is allowable to do so.
My last question is, I know there are some rules set by board policy, but also by state ed code about what foods can and cannot be sold at certain times during the day?
Absolutely, and it's changed over the years. Generally, 2 food sales in an elementary can only happen, and it has to be nutritious during the year, so only 2 times. At junior high, it has to be at the close of at the food lunch program, and then you can sell items. But they have to be nutritious, and there is a list of guidelines of what that could be at the state level. And in the high school districts, generally, they can't be in competition with the food service program at that same time. Each has specific program requirements that are laid out with the National School Lunch Program, and CSBA is California School Boards Association. Their model policies will have each level of requirements that you can and what you can do for elementary, junior high, and high school students.
So I guess a word to the wise would be ask so you know what your parameters are.
Absolutely do that and check with your school board policies, because every district may be slightly unique, but what is universal is the National School Lunch Program policies. Those are overriding.
We haven't talked about it, but many schools also have breakfast, and that all the same things would apply.
It's still the National School Lunch Program, and it's the National School Breakfast Program. Both of those are the federal program. There is some state components of each one of those, small reimbursements, but the bulk of it is through the federal government.
So while we want our kids to come to school to learn to read, write, etc., they also come to eat, and we have to be aware of that.
Absolutely, and a hungry child is a child not prepared to learn. So I believe our breakfast program and lunch program serves a valuable learning function, and so I think it's a valid concern.
Thank you very much.